This is going to be my favorite part, I think. This is when we want to introduce the lived experience panel. I would like to introduce you to, this part is the reason why I do the work I do, because of these folks here, these brave warriors who are going to come share. I'm going to come share their story, and to be honest, I think we might need some Kleenex. Maybe I needed. Taylor, John, Austin, Chris, Dave. Am I missing anybody? It's hard to read my notes. It's dark over here. They are the pulse of the Maverick Project. Their courage, their honesty, their lived experience don't just inspire us, they guide us. I'm not a teacher when I'm around them. I'm not a teacher when I hear their stories or when we're doing any kind of research regarding our project. I'm a learner, I'm a student. And you are the teachers, you are the professors, you are the ones that are saving lives. And I can't thank you enough for coming today, because you've come from all different places and to make time to come here. And the amount of work that you're doing, I'm so glad that we're putting this on YouTube, because people need to see the real world and what's really going on. And this panel, I think you're going to have a chance to hear some raw truth. They're just going to be themselves. And this is radical hope happening here. So real stories from people walking the walk. I want to please join me in welcoming Michael and the Maverick Lived Experience panel. And just thank you in advance. And please just listen with your hearts. Thanks.
Well, we're good to go on the microphones. Wonderful. Guys, check. Do we have something on there? We're good to go? Yeah, okay, we're good to go. Guys, I'm so excited to be here on the stage with you right now. This has been a long time coming. We've been through a lot of steps together, a lot of journey. We've gone a lot of miles, and I'm just so grateful to every single one of you. You guys are incredible. I'm really proud to call you colleagues, and I'm so glad to occupy a space around the table with you. If you really want to learn about a challenging problem, I think the first thing that you can do is go and speak to the experts. And everybody here, you're sitting in front of you right now, is an expert in this field. So just to kind of keep the jitters and the nerves a little down here, we got some simple basic questions we're going to ask, and then we're just going to see where that takes us, okay? So because we've got Taylor here just to the left of me, we're going to start with Taylor, and I'm just going to ask you maybe just introduce yourself to everybody here and tell us a little bit about your lived experience with substance use. And finally, let's talk a little bit about why medical cannabis is important personally to you in your recovery.
Okay, yeah, I'm Taylor Purdy. I'm a peer coordinator with Ask Wellness and Urban Matters, and peer educator with Interior Health. So my experience, I'm just going to start right off by saying, I have over about 13 years of substance use addiction. And I'll tell you right off the bat, I avoided all treatment centers and recovery centers like the plague because I couldn't bring cannabis into them. And I struggled on my own, doing it over and over and over again to try to relapse, or to try to get clean. I would relapse over and over just using opiate replacement therapies, work, or just using high THC strains, and it didn't ever end up working out. I got, addicted to a lifestyle where I got addicted to money, and I'm very lucky to not have been put behind bars, and I put that lifestyle away, and I still kept relapsing over and over again with the tools that I had, and it wasn't working. And it wasn't until I was essentially about to go into a septic shock from abscessed teeth. The lifestyle I lived, I had money to spend on teeth, and they would get knocked out, and I would put them back in, or get root canals, and over, and they all ended up failing till I got to a point where the infections were so bad, I was about to die, and I had to make my way into a detox center and make a change before I disappeared off the planet. And I had to go to detox twice to get into the lovely Maverick that has saved my life. But it's a popular place, and there was a waiting list. But all it took was an intake with someone who was working there to look me in the eyes and treat me like a normal human, to really give me that little bit of hope, and also talk about the amazing experience that was happening, that was just starting up at the Maverick that Michael was introducing. And I just felt like it was a sign from the universe. Like, here I am avoiding all methods of recovery and treatment because I truly believe that I can bring cannabis into it, and that's what I needed. But I really had no idea what I was talking about or what I thought I needed. When I got into the Maverick, I was just blown away by the amount of recovery options that they were able to provide there. It was a recovery buffet. If something didn't work for me, I could find something that did, and they made sure I did. And not only that, you know, the initial thing with all recovery is if you can do all this, learn these amazing tools to work on yourself, but until you get that stability that we've heard before, it's not very useful. And that was one of the things. I was so gung-ho on all these recovery methods, but this abscess teeth, these infections, this pain, it kept coming back. It stopped me from eating, stopped me from sleeping and engaging in any recovery. And once I was able to get on the program with Michael, talk about game changer, it was unreal. First off, I kind of got fed up with fixing my teeth, and I asked for a dentist to take them all out and put dentures in there. And you know, after a lot of talking, they really didn't want me to take them all out. They could have fixed them, but I was sick of fixing teeth. So they convinced me to keep a bottom 6 for a bottom partial. But long story short, I got a big extraction, all the top teeth I have, and the dentist said using these CBDA oils, I healed over twice as fast as anyone they've seen come in there get that kind of extraction. And I was still smoking a pack of cigarettes a day at that time. I don't know how that's possible, but it did, and I kept using it. And it not only helped with the frustrations of getting immediate dentures and they're not fitting properly, constant issues, friction sores, pain, and I couldn't even eat. I couldn't touch my teeth together. And as soon as I did use the CBD oils and put it in there overnight, I was actually able to put them back in the morning. I was able to eat, and I was able to figure things out. You know, it's a constant issue. I'm still having to deal with getting new ones and dealing with the discomfort. But without the CBDA, I wouldn't have been able to. Like, you know, my job has taken me in the direction of a lot of speaking and, you know, groups that I do. And if my teeth aren't there, I can't really pronounce my words. So it's a very important thing that I need to have. And it has a lot of power over me. But if I didn't have these tools provided by Michael and this beautiful team, I wouldn't have had a chance. And yeah, I feel like I could go off days about this, but essentially it helped me get off of also the pharmaceuticals that I was put on in early recovery. So I tried methadone many times, and it did not work. It was just painful. I did use it for a period of time with cannabis, and I got about a year working construction until I relapsed in COVID. But when I got in the Maverick, I was on Sublocade, Trazodone, Seroquel. My past, I used high doses of fentanyl, meth, cocaine. I used it all. I was intravenous. I was a very heavy user. And when I went into the Maverick, I was on Sublocade, Trazodone, Seroquel for sleep, and Vyvanse to be able to focus because I have ADHD. And I got put up to the highest dose possible for Vyvanse, I believe, that they have. And using CBDA, THCA, and the tools provided here, along with my recovery, I was able to get off of all of those withdrawal-free. And I'm down, except for one, I'm down to the lowest dose I can be on for the stimulant Vyvanse, and I'm almost there. But using these holistic medicines, I've been able to scrap pharmaceuticals completely. I'm almost on 100% holistic, just using this and the recovery tools that I have learned. So it's really created an opportunity for me to have a completely personalized recovery, an authentic one, and one that works for me, which is the most important to get the best success. So I could sit here and talk for days, but we got some amazing people and beautiful things to hear. So I'll pass it on.
Wow. Thank you, Taylor. All right, Austin, here you
Hello.
are. In particular, Austin, I'm really thankful that you're here today. I know it's tough getting up on stage, and I know it's
Yeah.
difficult public speaking. I know it's tough, right?
Oh, yeah.
Usually we sit around a table with a bunch of donuts.
Yeah.
And I call myself Donut Guy, and it's a lot easier, right? It's like, would you like a Timbit? It's no problem.
Yeah.
But now we're up on stage and we're doing all this, and I know how much it means that you're here today.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, this
grateful.
whole program has been absolutely incredible. Honestly, life changing. My name's Austin. 32. Brief little recap the last couple of years. I was a heavy drinker in a toxic relationship. Ended up getting homeless. Wasn't very good there. Thank God I had family, came and saved me. But then I still realized I was still drinking. So, thank God parents were like, maybe try treatment. So I was like, okay, why not? So thank God Maverick called me in not even a week. It was incredible, right? So going to an intake, everybody was so nice. Came in a week later, and yeah, it was probably one of the best decisions I've made for sure. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how medical cannabis is important for you personally in terms of your recovery.
Well, it's just essentially from my recovery. I'm recovering not just from alcoholism, but for a lot of trauma from the circumstances I was in. So I lost a lot of self-confidence, had high anxiety, and very big rooms full of people. It could be even 10 people, but I mean, right now I think I'm doing somewhat okay. Thank you. But yeah, no. So with these oils, I've been able to, not just one sleep, but with that anxiety thing was one of the biggest things. I'm able to go out to hang out with 50 people in a room for hours on end now and not feel uncomfortable. I don't have to feel like I don't have to, run away or go have, me time before I can re-enter and talk to another person. So that's been incredible for that aspect. Sleep-wise, I tried many different prescription meds, and from antidepressants as well. I just didn't like the way I felt. None of them worked. And figuring out I have a nighttime anxiety and taking the oils at night, it just helps crazy amount. Instead of waking 5 times a night, I'm waking up maybe once or twice. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that, right? Yeah, exactly. So, this program has changed my life. Honestly, I can't be any happier. Maverick's given me a job there. I work work in the kitchen, get to cook for the clients, which I absolutely love doing. I don't even call it work. It's just my life. So, yeah, no, it's since this program, it's changed everything for me.
Thank you so much for that. I'd like to note that this is actually your first time going into a recovery setting.
Yeah.
And so what's really interesting from your perspective is you reached out for help, and the Maverick was your first experience with a recovery facility. And so what I'm excited about is that when a person has a need for support and they reach out to a program like the Maverick with Ask Wellness, when it's your first time and this is the result that you can generate, it's particularly important in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, it was huge. And I mean, like I said, I had no self-confidence and total social anxiety, but I have a family now there, right? So it's amazing there. That's all I can say.
Well, we're just so proud of you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Austin. Yeah. All right, Chris. Well, Chris, thank you so much. Chris made the trip from the Lower Mainland up here today, and he's doing a quick overnight and right back home into work. And so an extra special thank you, Chris, for making the journey and coming up here. And you fulfilled your promise that you made to me, which I honor you for, too. You said, Michael, when it comes time to talk, I'll be there. I'll share with people. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you so much. So please take it away.
No problem. Thank you, Michael. My name's Chris. I had a bad addiction since probably 13 or 14. Early in life, things got hard at home, and I was kind of just to say, kind of on the street pretty early. I found that I got more love from my thug friends than I did at home at the time, so I was kind of stuck. And that led into, obviously, substance abuses. And then it got so bad that it would start, I went to jail. And that was probably really bad because you meet people in there and it's just a little different. And life was not so good at times, like not good. I hit some lows real bad. And I would try to get on a pharmaceutical to get me off fentanyl, which was hard because when you're using both, it's really hard. Sometimes I'd get up to like 100 mils and then miss 3 days and then it's canceled. And there'd be other times where I was clean for a while and my script would go wrong and it would happen on a Friday and then there's no time to get it by Monday. And if you don't understand fentanyl, you're relapsing. The first day maybe, but the second day you're like, screw this. And that was life for a long time. It was hard. Then I was smart enough to leave Surrey, Wally, when I was using needles at the time, and I said, I'm going to die. I have to get out of here. So I was strong enough to leave there and go to Langley and just smoke it, but it saved my life pretty much at the time. But it was hard because I got stuck there for 2 years before I came here. And then I just had the courage to get out of there and had a family member from here pick me up and drive me out here, and we found Maverick, thank God. And things got really good for me when I got to Maverick because I knew I wasn't on methadone at the time, so it was really hard in detox, and I wasn't. And you can't just cut that cold turkey. There's no friggin' way. So I did get in at my aunt's house on methadone. Maybe I got to about 50 or 60 mils or something, and then came to the Maverick. And I still was not feeling good, so I had to go up to 200 mils. I got up to at the time, and it helped me. It helped me get my life in gear and be functional for sure. But I knew that there'd be a time that I had to get off that, and I was always wondering how. And then when I got to Maverick, maybe a month in or two, I would smell it sometimes, and I thought, what the hell? Like, there's no way they have a cannabis program or something here. There's no way it's a recovery. It's just not going to happen. And sure enough, there was a miracle. Like, Michael was here, and I was talking to a counselor, Tracy, who's awesome, and she helped me a lot and introduced me to Michael, and it changed my life, you know. So it's pretty crazy. It allowed me to get off methadone. So I got up to 200 mils, and I'd say I was at the Maverick for about 17 months. It helped me stay there through some hard times, for sure. And it helped me get off methadone. So the day I left, I did a urine sample, and it wasn't in my system anymore. So I kind of left with a bang. That's good. Yeah. And, you know, and, you know, I've been 2 months back into where I came from, which statistics show is probably not that good, but I'm still clean, and it's like easy now. Like, I find it easy with support around me, and I'm just too busy right now to get in any trouble, you know? And that's about it. That's my story. That's how it helped me. And I wanted to help others. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, John.
There we go.
All right, here we go. It's your turn. That was quite a picture on that slideshow, by the way, there. I think you have all the muscles. Though, yeah, I got to say, there were some muscles. I didn't know that there were muscles, but I guess you have them. So congrats, man. Take it away.
And there's the anxiety again. Thanks, Michael. Yes, hello, everybody. My name is John. In November, I will have 4 years clean and sober. And that is... Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to think about, because I was just doing the math in my head a minute ago, and I've been struggling with substance misuse since I was at least 10 years old. So that's over 15 years. That blows my mind that I struggled with it that much. And it wasn't just even the hard drugs. Like, I was stealing alcohol and cigarettes and fucking popping my medication like candy when I was like 11 years old. I remember I almost died when I was 12, actually, because I popped my whole bottle of medication. My mom found me like drooling on myself on my bedroom floor. So yeah, that was a bit of a wake-up call for my parents, I guess, because then they sent me off to military school. And that didn't help at all, because then after I got out of there, I just rebelled and went even harder, went to the streets, moved to Kelowna, started stealing trucks, doing robberies and armed robberies by the time I was 15, got a criminal record, and spent my 16th birthday in Kelowna city cells for 2 weeks. That was a blast. Yeah, so I don't know. I've struggled with substances a lot, and it was just, I thought it was for fun, but I think I was subconsciously self-medicating myself because I did not like myself or life. And I went to, like Chris mentioned, I went to where I felt actual acceptance, not judgment. And that was with misfits and drug addicts and people that sold drugs and committed crime and stuff, because they're like, yeah, they didn't really care where you came from. They were just happy to have someone to be around, because everybody at the end of the day is looking for connection. And what is the opposite of addiction? Connection. Yeah, so now I'll tell you a little bit about myself now. I am now the old Taylor, new me at the Maverick, the peer employment support worker. A little bit about my role is I'm a friend for people coming in off the street. I can relate to their experience coming through the program. I can relate to their experience on the street, because I've been through quite a bit of it. I can't relate to all of it, but I can relate to having been through struggle and not wanting to live with that being an everyday thing anymore. Yeah, this program, the cannabis program, has absolutely changed the trajectory of my path completely. I was just thinking, like, it was crazy. A little over a year ago, I almost fought a guy because he sat in my spot at the kitchen table. Like, that's mind-blowing. And now I can, like, actually, I've learned the tools because I've been able to regulate my nervous system thanks to the oils well enough to where I can actually pause and think to myself, is it going to be beneficial to myself and everyone around me if I knock this guy out right now? Probably not. So let's not do that. And at the end of the day, like, he might not have been thinking about how that's going to affect me. He's like, I don't know what's going on in his life. And fuck, even 6 months ago, I was still struggling to have that kind of mindset. And it just goes to show what kind of progress can be made with stability. And yeah, I don't know. Like Taylor said, I could go on for hours about this stuff because I love it, and I'm so pumped up about this, and so grateful for Michael and the staff at the Maverick and everyone else who has helped me on my path. So thank you.
Really proud of you, John. Thank you very, very much. All right, Dave. Here it is. We got some notes. That's really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, I'm really, really excited that you're here today, and I'm really, really grateful. I remember sitting across from you on our first day. I remember telling you about the program and about the kinds of expectations that we sort of were thinking, you know, in terms of consensus. We've seen this benefit. We're not sure what'll happen for you, but everyone else around the table was sitting like, yeah, then that's good. I'm getting these benefits. And I remember seeing the pain in your eyes and the look. I felt bad telling you about these benefits because I could see the pain and the suffering of you across from the table looking at me. And I'll never forget that week afterwards. So I'll give it to you, take it away. But I'm just so grateful you're here. Thank you very much, Dave.
Okay, my name's Dave Larson. I'm 57 years old. Okay, so My introduction to substance use began at a Black Sabbath concert at the age of 10. So it was like 45 years of hardcore drug use. And I remember coming into Maverick, they asked me, what was your top 3 drugs? And like Taylor, I was top 3, but I could have listed off the whole page. And it was just relentless. It was hardcore. I went full in and destroyed a lot of my life because of it. It was just like my lower power took control, and it took over my life, and I couldn't find any way out. It was harsh. And then so at 15, doctors, I was diagnosed when I was 15 with ankylosing spondylitis, form arthritis. It fuses your spine, so they put me on methotrexate. It was a sulfur-based drug for cancer, but it just turned me yellow, and I had to be under 24-hour surveillance. I could die at any time. So I wasn't good. I wasn't doing anything for the pain, so they put me on methadone at 15. And I did that for years on and off, and I went up to like 120 mil, and then I was down in Vancouver, and I couldn't get any, so I went cold turkey off it. Almost died. I was raising 2 babies at the time by myself. And then well, long story short, after years of abuse, I've just had enough and couldn't do it anymore. Put myself in a detox for the first time. After that, Maverick was lucky enough to take me. I thank them. I thank everyone there, the support staff, Darlene, Jackson, Tracy, Jess, all my family, friends, and peer support workers. I couldn't have done it without them. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. And then, so 4 months in, 5 months, I wasn't sleeping at all. I had insomnia. I tried all the prescription drugs that, same stuff they prescribed Taylor, and none of it did anything. All the Seroquel, nothing. I still couldn't sleep. Finally, I heard about the program with Michael, and within a week or two, like my legs were, I shattered my legs. I fell 25 feet off of scaffolding and shattered both my legs. Compound fracture. My legs were just like flat skin. And so they, I was in the hospital here in Kamloops for 2 years. They put surgical steel on this side's all nuts and bolts. I was in there for 2 years. A week after I got out, I got a motor vehicle accident and shattered my leg again. And then after that, I got into Maverick, of course, and then I started using my legs would swell up every time it was below my heart. Every time I got out of bed or out of my recliner, my legs would swell up, and I could barely walk. It was in so much pain. Until I started the CBDA and the CBD oils, and within a couple weeks, my swelling was down like nothing. And I stopped taking it for a week or so, and the inflammation came right back. And so I went back on it, and it went away again. So benefits of it is phenomenal, I gotta say. And then the THC oils, I was able to sleep, and now I'm sleeping regularly. Something I hadn't done like my whole life. And yeah, without the program, it's just, I know I wouldn't have made it. So I want to thank everyone at Maverick and Michael and everyone. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. So what kind of catches me about hearing all of these different lived experiences is you can see that there's a great deal of variety in what each individual is sharing. And yet in our program, we use really the same program for everyone. And so what's really fascinating about this is you're hearing a consensus emerging from people who, by all accounts, have a very complicated history and past. And as a result of that, it often makes us feel as though we're powerless in this work and that we just don't have enough of what we need to really affect change. But what we're learning about with medical cannabis is that perhaps there is a missing piece of the puzzle here. And that if we are able to bring medical cannabis into a recovery setting as a standard operating procedure, as something that we integrate into obviously when it's appropriate, and it wouldn't be appropriate for everyone, but for those that it is, the sooner we get to it, and the less barriers there are to accessing it, what a difference that could make. And so I'm just wondering if anybody would like to add any additional information about the importance of starting the treatment as early as possible. And I know that for some folks, they've gone through traditional recovery for a period of time. I just want to know, what would it have been like for you potentially if you had had access to medical cannabis much earlier in your recovery journey? Does anybody want to kind of take that topic on a little bit and chat a little bit about that? Because I know this is an experimental, brand new therapy, and it's barely available. But what would it be like if this type of thing was standard equipment, that was something offered as a regular part of recovery and as a menu of choices, one of the things that you would have not hidden away, tucked away somewhere, but really as part of the process? What if this was available more broadly to people? Should it be? Anybody want?
Yeah, sure. Oh, wrong one.
Are we good?
Is this good? I think it's on. Yeah, we're on. No. Oh, use this one. Okay. I just wanted to also point out what you were bringing up, because this ties into what you're saying here. You spoke about Austin as being his first time in recovery and treatment, and I don't think he's actually the only one. I as well, and there you go. And that's just something to look at right there. I actually avoided recovery and treatment because I believed all the broken bones, all the smashed teeth, all the pain that I've been through, I needed that for that stability and that pain to kind of get through in recovery. And how many years of skipping across rock bottom, low-income housing, getting kicked out of all low-income housing, and then homeless, and then having like tents burnt down in town and roaming the streets here for years. Like how many years could I have taken off? I could have taken off a lot. And, it was always like looking up, there's got to be a center that has this somewhere. There's got to be a center that allows that, like I had to actually sneak in THC vape, in my pocket to detox just to be able to make it in there. And I just said, oh no, like it's stored in my fat metabolites. So it'll keep showing up in my urine. Sorry, I don't have it. But like that, I needed that to get through it. And I also didn't give recovery or treatment a chance because I knew, like, if I'm not sleeping, if I'm not eating, and, if I don't have any stability, like, how can I focus and engage in this or move on with life? But I just think it's amazing the fact that we got 4 of us here that have never ever went to a recovery center, a treatment center. We tried on our own for years and years and years using opiate replacement therapy or our own tools of just abstinence. But the thing is, with mixing this with recovery, having these acidic forms is just unreal. It's not just like having cannabis for harm reduction or high THC. Yes, that can work great. and recreational, you know, there has its place, but bringing this acidic forms to it, like I thought I was a connoisseur of cannabis growing up, you know, in a grow up kind of deal. I thought I knew everything there was to know about it. And then when I met Michael, I realized I knew absolutely nothing, and I had to scrap everything I thought I knew about it. And it just changed my life, knowing like, oh, these alive forms, you know, the plant's pretty much active, it's alive, and you ingest it, and the bioavailability is so unreal, you just can't compete with it, and it's so different than normal THC or CBD that the average person is aware of. So like I just had to have some emphasis on that, because of what you're doing is mind-blowing. All of us here, I know I am, and it's not just the CBDA and THCA that you bring to the table. Your clinical support, you as a person, it's so hard to beat Michael Cohen here, obviously, but that is a huge part of it, and you make sure we have that support, and that it's an adjunctive therapy. It also goes along with our recovery, and it doesn't just go along, it enhances it, and it gives us, like I said, so many other, like stability and so many other things that we're able to improve on and work on. And yeah, I just had to say that and point that out. It was because the chances of like 4 people, you know, trying recovery for the first time out of like massive addiction in their life, and you know, it working first time is not a very common thing. So I just had to give them props for that. All right.
Thank you.
Like, to your question, like me being in the Maverick program and it being introduced to me, I was in it 5 months. I mean, I used cannabis beforehand, before going into the treatment, and then being without it, it was, you know, I got to see some things, you know, figure some things out. You know, why wasn't I sleeping? But you know, I was happy for that wait, because it made me, I got to learn the difference on how to use it, compared to when, you know, before, when I was drinking and using it, I'd be doing it just for, you know, depression or something to do. You know, there was no rhyme or reason for it, where now I actually have a purpose for it. You know, it helps me, right? You know, I'm able to, you know, before the event, obviously on the ride down, I took some oil. You know, you got to use it. You know, or else I'd probably be behind the couch right now. So, you know, but yeah, no, it needs to be more available, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So I know we're kind of winding up the time here, and I just wanted to open up the floor one last time for anybody who had anything they wanted to add. And no pressure, but if there's one last comment you want to make sure that people know about or hear about, maybe for people that are currently struggling with addiction, families that are struggling, what would you say to them? What would your advice be to them? Anybody who'd like to do that? John?
It all comes down to your intention and your mindset, I think, because growing up, and how bad you want it. Growing up, I've used cannabis on and off for the better half of my life. And when I was using it again, I was using it in the pretense of, oh, I'm just using it to get high. And as participating in this program, being surrounded by like-minded people, and of course, our Bud Buddha over there, I was starting to see it from a new light and a new perspective, a tool to be used and intent behind it. And it completely changed my relationship with it. I was able to use it as needed. Instead of smoking a joint every hour, I started using the oils consistently, like recommended, but not forced. Because that's another thing that I love about this program is the tools are placed in front of you, and the rest is up to you. And that helps immensely. I was slowly starting to reduce the amount I was smoking to not at all for quite a while, and I just used the oils. I've reduced the amount of ADHD medication I've been taking. Like many others here, I got off Sublocade, opiate agonist therapy, so many other benefits. It all came down to my perspective, my mindset on it, and is this a tool or a pastime? Thank you.
Also, to answer your question as well, it would have saved me if I had it right away when I came in. It would have saved me 4 months. I would have gotten sleep right away. Because I remember coming back after the first time using it, and I could have kissed you. I was so happy. That's it. Thanks.
I can add to that quickly. It would have been nice to have right away the flower part. The THC mostly, because of one thing, methamphetamine psychosis. That was for real when I came in. Like, I mean, for real. Like, I was hearing things and I was friggin', I thought staff was out to get me at first because they put me in the door beside there, and the door would open so much at night. I thought there's no way that door can go so many times a night. I thought they were screwing with me. I don't even want to get into the other stuff. I thought my room was bugged. Like, so much more stuff. And within time, it can go away. I was probably on the borderline of, but it did go away, right? But with cannabis, it friggin' helped, for sure. Like, I'd feel normal and good when I was medicated, and when I wasn't, it wasn't so good, right? So it does go away, you know? Give it time, it goes away. And today, I still use THC and CBD and a CBDA oil and a THCA oil, and there's none of that anymore. And my life is good. It's good. So I just wanted to add to that, you know? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. All right. Well, we've kept everybody here, past our time, but we've thought it was important. So thank you so much to everyone here for attending our event today. Floriann, do you have something you'd like to say?
One more round of applause to all of you. Yeah, big standing ovations. Thank you. Thank you. Well, wow, what a afternoon, and I thank you so much for all coming again, and this, just hearing you just made this so, I'm never going to stop working, I just know it, because it's just, yeah, you're so honest, and you're sharing things just, yeah, thank you. I'm speechless, basically. We would like, I don't know how much time we have, Michael. I think we're kind of over time than what we promised. We got to get out of this joint, I know. Okay, well, there might be a few people with some questions. Are we okay to stick around a little bit if we have some time? If not, again, I do have that sheet of paper. We can write some questions down. I have cards here if you need to get a hold of us. We have a CanSolve connection up top there with some emails. You take a picture with your phone if you want to ask us questions specifically, because some of you might have come with some questions, and we are a place of education. We want to share what we can with you. So I do want to leave that open to let you know that we are very approachable, and we do want to answer your questions, but maybe we run out of time today, okay? But there are ways to get a hold of us. So first of all, I want to say that. I did want to mention one little thing. You might have noticed a book on that table, and that is because Taylor is an author, and he's in there. He wrote a chapter in that book. And Taylor, do you mind reading the title? He signed it for me, so it's mine. That's my book. But you can get it on Amazon, and it is, I've actually gone through it twice because it is very powerful. It is about recovery. There are stories in there on how to deal with recovery, and they're raw, they're real, they're genuine, and I'd like to use that book for my students, my nursing students in their community health program class. Do you want to speak to it for 5 seconds? Just what it is about?
Sure, yeah, this is Healing Mind, Body, Soul, Recovering from Trauma of Addiction, and it's a compilation of people's lived experience in all forms, and there's amazing stories in here, and my 11 pages in here is called Living Proof of the Maverick Protocol, so yeah.
He name dropped us. I love it. Well, I just want to thank all of our speakers for coming from far and wide, and especially those who've shared their stories. It's not always easy to tell the stories, and you're so brave and wonderful for sharing them. I want to thank all the research team and our collaborations, Mastermind Studios again. All of these parts are going to be on YouTube, and I know that there will be hundreds and hundreds of views and more. And so I do want to thank again Peter Cameron-Ingus, the owner and videographer, director, producer, and the charter member of both the Motion Pictures Production Association of BC and the Canadian Media Producers Association. Holy crow, you're pretty important. Thank you so much for helping us bring all of this together and for videotaping this, because it will be used. Forever Immortal, we will be using this stuff. So yeah, you've made a big difference there for access of information. Any last words? We're all good? Okay. Some of us might be sticking around a little bit, so if you need to talk, and thank
Let's
you
give it up
so
for
much.
Floriann.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right, so that's it. Be careful going up those stairs. Thank you.